Okay, hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're playing e4 as per usual. My opponent is going to respond with, drumroll please, they go for a Caro-Kann. Okay, d4. Now, I've very recently made a tutorial against the Caro-Kann, against this bishop to f5 line. We see c5, which is a little more annoying because bishop f5 and we could have gone for a very exciting variation, but we can take here and still play something kind of exciting. If e6 or knight to c6, which are the two most common moves, we do see knight c6. Now I can go for a3. And the point is that after e6, we can protect this. So the knight then takes our pawn. This is kind of the point. And I believe, do we go b4 now? I think we maybe go b4 now. I need to remember. b4? And then, well, what if knight f3? Oh, I literally made a tutorial on this. How can I not remember? Okay, I think we do go for b4 here. And the whole point is we just create this structure. And it is quite pleasant. And my opponent cannot go for ideas of bishop f5, I don't think, which is a really common idea in the Caro-Kann, bishop f5 and like e6. That's kind of the structure that they're aiming for generally. But we see the knight develop. Okay. Now, what if bishop f4? The knight could go back. The knight could just go back. Bishop f4, the knight goes back. What if I play like b5? I mean, it could be interesting. Okay, we'll go for bishop f4. I feel like this must be a good move. The knight's gonna have to go back. I don't really see another move. If I knight b5, I just kick the knight. There's no pawn that can support this knight. I think we have to see knight c6, or we see the knight go back the other way. Okay. Fine. Now, I think we will drop back to g3 with the bishop. We've got a very interesting setup here. And we see e5. Okay. Because often you're looking to play bishop b5 check. But I was kind of leaving that in case my opponent went bishop f5 and e6, because then they just lose the game. Because they can't block the check very effectively. But instead, do we play c4? There's like a small chance that c4 is the best move here. We'll go knight f3 though. We'll attack the pawn, we'll develop the pieces, we'll be nice and principled and see what my opponent goes for. Because they can't go for something like bishop d6, which might be quite a natural move in a position where I don't have this pawn on c5. And I mean, in all endgames, there's going to be the possibility for me to create a pass pawn here. Okay, bishop comes out. Meaning bishop has to go back if I go here. So that could be a really good idea. Or, I mean, if we go here, we could see the knight block, but you don't really want to pin your own pieces. And then we could take on here, and that would just be disastrous. So bishop check, we would have to see the bishop go back, which I'd assume is a good move. The bishop comes out, force it back. We could trade it off even, and then we get like another move. Actually, we could win a pawn here. Check. Bishop goes back. I take. Oh, they can take back with the knight to defend this pawn, but then they lose this pawn. Okay, interesting. I mean, as I said, this idea of bishop b5 check kind of makes sense, but we're putting pressure on these pawns from a distance. But it seems to have culminated in something concrete, like an actual just being a pawn up. We can castle. Then I was considering playing h3 because if takes, then maybe we go check as a little Zwischenzug. If you move the king, I can just recapture. And if you block with the queen, obviously take the queen, so you block with the knight. Then I take here, then this is hanging, the knight's pinned. That could have been interesting. But the bishop goes back here, we can just take. And if queen takes, we will have knight here, I believe. And if the queen pins, we can just castle kingside, can't we? So the knight takes backwards to defend this pawn, but in the process, gives up the d5 pawn. Because that was the only defender of the d5 pawn. And now this pawn's hanging yet again. And we're going to castle, and we're going to bring the rook to the e-file, and we're going to play knight c3, rook d1. This looks like a beautiful, beautiful position. My opponent is, they're just absolutely boxing themselves in. You know, this is screaming out for some smothered knight checkmate, but I feel like that's not going to happen because our queen's hanging. We can take this pawn though. But do I want to open up this? I mean, honestly, then I've just got to pass pawn here. Surely that has to be a good idea. Right, we're gonna pick up another pawn. 2 pawns up. See, f6 defending this pawn. Wow. But now I feel like a castle, and I feel like in almost all positions there's got to be a way that I can just sacrifice a knight and like break this open. The bishop can't even move. This is ridiculous. Or I go c6 here, which is also funny. Wait, c6? Like knight b6, I play c7. Queen goes under, takes. I don't think we can play c6 just yet. I mean, maybe it was an option, but I think we should probably just castle, bring the rook to the e file. That makes a lot of sense to me. So the knight steps out. I guess going just straight for the bishop. But what if I now go c6? I just really want to play the move c6. I mean, maybe I can. And like, I just push all these pawns. Okay, that's probably what I'm going to do eventually. I don't feel like I should do that right now. Maybe we should go knight c3. You know what? I don't know if it's the best move. I haven't really put any thought into that. But purely for the satisfaction of developing all the pieces and having rook to d1 as an idea, that will be brutal. Oh, this is a beautiful game. How did this go so wrong for my opponent? Oh yeah, bishop g4. And there was just check there, takes, and then whatever they take with, we win a pawn. But then the knight going back, I think that was a bit of a one-move threat attacking the queen. I'm not entirely sure that was actually a very good move because, you know, you need to do something about this. But then what do you do about this? And this is hanging. So it's like, okay, you play it like f6, for instance. I don't know. We'll look in the analysis, but what a beautiful position. And I mean, you can see this. Interesting way of playing against this Caro-Kann. Okay, my opponent just wants the castle. That's their idea. Can't really blame them for that. But honestly, unfortunately, we're going to have to play rook d1 and stop them from castling, at least temporarily, because if they castle, the king does not defend the knight anymore. So that looks dubious. That looks really bad. Why don't I just take that, takes, and then rook takes? Okay. That move makes no sense to me. Maybe my opponent resigns soon, honestly, because just, I mean, I would resign. If I was 3 pawns down and facing the other rook coming to d1, we'll definitely check the analysis on this one, but wow. Okay, free queen with check. Cheers. Can just take this now, I guess. Yeah, okay, resign. Please resign. What are you doing? Just resign, my friend. Have some respect for yourself, do you know what I mean? Don't waste your own time playing this game. Fair enough, they're entitled to play on if they wish. We'll go for this check, honestly. But now it's just a matter of converting when I have a queen for a rook. And I also have like a bunch of pawns. Okay, so the king's moved. Honestly, I want to open my f-file. So why not? I want to do this and I want to just get to the king. Okay, bro. Like, there's just no way this isn't winning. We'll go here. If you go check, I can just go king f2. There's no check here, the knight holds. So I mean, we're not concerned about that. The bishop can't even move. My opponent brings their rook in now. I mean, what can I do here? Check. It seems we can go check, which is just fun. Honestly, disconnecting the rooks, don't even have to think about anything. The king comes across. How do I do this? Where's my quick win? What, check? And the king comes under here, maybe. I've definitely, like, I've had better moves. Okay, wait, oh, check here. Oh my god, we go check. The king goes back here. Queen sack. Bellissimo, bellissimo. For my Italians in the chat, bellissimo. Drop a little bellissimo in the chat right now. I don't know what I'm saying in the chat, I'm not streaming. Queen to e8. Let me just make sure this works. Rook takes is forced. What a fitting way to end this game with a beautiful queen sacrifice. Oh my goodness. Look at that checkmate. Let's analyze this game. Okay, so here we are in the analysis. Now, that game I played with a 97% accuracy. I don't know if you'll be able to see over my face cam there, but 97% accuracy with 0 inaccuracies, 0 mistakes, and 0 blunders, and a 10 average centi pawn loss. An average centi pawn loss, for those of you who aren't familiar with Lichess like grades games. A centi pawn is 1/100th of a pawn, obviously, and a pawn on the evaluation bar is a +1 or -1, depending on if it's for white or for black. So a centi pawn is 0.01 of a deviation in the evaluation bar. 10 average centi pawn loss means that on average, over all the moves in the game, I only deviated from the best move 0.1 on the evaluation bar per move. Basically, perfect game of chess. Oh yeah, that's what you're here to see. Subscribe if you're not already. Let's go through the game. So d4, c6. We'll open the Masters database here, Caro-Kann defense. d4, d5 here, and then we go for e5, top move. Now, bishop f5, as I said, I was kind of hoping for, because there's really fun lines with like bishop f5, knight c3, e6, and then early g4 here. This is a line that I really like to play, and I also made a tutorial on it recently. However, my opponent goes for c5. We take here. This is the best move. All the best players are playing this. Wesley So, Vishy Anand. We've got loads. We've got Jan Krzysztof Duda, Sergei Karyakin. I know. All the goats of the game playing this line. I guess we're not very far into the game yet, but after knight c6, this is where we deviate from like completely mainline theory. This is definitely still theory a lot of grandmasters play. If we look on Lichess database, we see knight f3, we see bishop b5, we see f4, knight c3, bishop f4, loads of top moves. However, this little 7.5% of masters here play a3, and this is the move that I really like going for. Jan Nepomniachtchi's played this a bunch of times. And yeah, that's kind of where I took inspiration from. I was looking at a few Jan games, and after they take this pawn here, you want to go for b4, which is what I went for, and we're still in 50 master games here. And after the other knight comes here, I believe I made not the best move. Yeah, so here we see a drop in the evaluation by. We'll turn on the engine actually. Well, okay, all of a sudden the engine just loves me now. Okay, I guess it sees that bishop b2 is actually quite a bit stronger. I decided to go for this because for some reason in my head I was thinking maybe there's knight c3, knight b5 ideas, and we get some kind of fork on here. But in the future, I should probably go for bishop b2 and hit both the knights here. If this goes back, then we can carry on developing as usual. But let me just turn off the engine here, sorry, it gets annoying. Instead, we went for bishop f4. The knight steps back here, and then, yeah, bishop g3, best move. e5 here, knight f3. Best move. Then the bishop comes here, and look at this beautiful punishment. We could have gone for h3, that would have also been good. Oh, maybe, okay, it's fluctuating. h3 or that, those are the moves I was considering. Those are the top two engine moves. Call me stockfish. But we go bishop b5 here. They have to return with the bishop. I mean, anything else, oh, sorry, what is going on here? Anything else, if they don't return with the bishop, they have like knight here, but then we just take this. This is a disaster. You can't even move anything. If they go, obviously, if they block with the queen, they're going to lose their queen. If they go king e7, need I say more than they've gone king e7? We can castle, we can go rook e1, etc. So they block with the bishop here. We take, and if queen takes, my plan was to take this pawn, and after takes here. If the queen goes here, we can just castle, I believe. Oh no, we can't just castle. Oh no, we can't just castle because of knight e4. Because here, if the queen takes, we go here pinning the queen, but then there's knight e4. And even if we play f3, okay, apparently there's just all sorts of tactics here. But okay, point was that we were winning a pawn in that line, so they took with the knight instead, which was less optimal because then we take this. The queen gets super active and involved, and the knight steps back. We just pick up another pawn. The pawn is pushed here, castles, knight comes here. It likes queen e4 quite a lot. It also likes rook d1 and knight c3, kind of all these moves fluctuating. We could have put pressure on the knight here. I went for knight c3 just to complete the development and bring the other rook to the d file. And then here, I mean, this move makes no sense. But to be completely honest, I mean, I don't really see anything that does make sense. I mean, yeah, you can try and trade the queens, but I go like this. Oh my god, and if you take, I take here, and I'm just up. And if you take like this, I take the rook. So yeah, it's just, I mean, there's just too much going on. The queen is overworked, tied to the rook, tied to the knight. This is too much pressure. The knight's going to jump in. It's outrageous stuff. So they go for knight here, takes, and then takes with the rook. Wait, knight e5 is actually one of the best moves. Giving up the queen is one of the best moves. That is ridiculous. I mean, I guess I was going to take this anyway, and then just take a rook. And then if the king moves, take another rook. So they played knight e5. I laughed at my opponent for this one. But the position is so bad Wow, 95 was the best move here. Hanging the queen. Because the position was that bad. Like, if you try and castle, you just lose this. And then you're going to lose all of this. And, like, if the bishop moves, we just go check here, and mate. Yeah, wow. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. So they sack their queen, rightfully. And then we just decide to trade off. I then go for check, drive the king here, and I go for f4, trying to open the f file and get the king. We see takes, and then look at this. Yeah, so first of all, if the king goes here, we go checkmate like this. So the bishop has to block. Then I went knight to e4. It prefers knight d5, actually, not allowing the rook to come in. That would have made more sense. I don't know why I didn't do that. Check here, and I go for this check, which, oh my god, so this loses like 500 points on the average 70 point loss. My other moves must have been so good. Anyway, the point is they can sack here, but then I just take and promote the pawn. Like, we're completely winning, but they move the king. And I go check. And yeah, you can give up the bishop, but it's not going to stop the eventual checkmate. That is king here. And of course, I could have played rook here, and then checkmate, fine. But of course, we can play queen to e8, sack the queen, and then takes with checkmate. Oh my god, this knight is beautiful. The rook's beautiful. The knight holding the f7 square is perhaps the most aesthetic bit about this whole thing. Beautiful checkmate. Beautiful game. Perfect game. What more can you ask for? Like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps the channel. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed, let me know down below, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.